Peter's like, I can't believe, like, you have 2 girls, like, and I don't have any. And, like, makes a weird joke about it. And then Sav then is, like, pawning Farah off onto Peter. He's like, I have to take her to the farmer. Oh, wait, Peter, why don't you be her date? Like, maybe she'll play along and it'll be fine. And, like, Anya won't know. And it's like, this is a bad
plan.
idea. And then Moose is sad that Johnny DiMarco's ignoring him. And that's the only note I have written down. I don't know if anything else happened.
Yeah.
Then, like, Johnny DiMarco's kind of just giving him
it's
the
just that
cold
Moose has
shoulder.
It's just that Moose has no other friends.
Yeah. And then we go back home with Sav, and Farah is there, and she's hot, and Sav is like, oh my god.
And Alli walks by and quietly says, you can pick your jaw up off the floor now. Alli's amazing.
But then we're back at
the pool hall.
And
Johnny DiMarco goes up to Lindsay, and she's like, where's the ogre?
Oh, that's her name?
Yeah.
And then they kind of start talking, I guess, and they're, like, vibing.
Yeah, and he says, I have a passion for cutlery, because he's helping her, like, put stuff away, because he is charming when he's, like, not being a fucking dickbag.
Gross person.
Yeah.
But then we're back at the dinner at Sav's house, and Farah's parents are like, so what are you gonna do after high school? And he's like, I don't know, like, do stuff with music in my band. And they're like, he's like, after I got my music PhD. And I'm like, is that a thing?
I don't know.
And then
I guess it's like an MFA.
Sure. And then Sav's dad is like, I keep telling him, like, cool doesn't pay the bills. And Sav's like, and I keep telling him I don't have any bills. And it's like, you're about to have some fucking bills.
Well,
Sav.
and then they're like, what about when you have children?
Yeah.
You're not getting any younger, 17-year-old.
Yeah. And then and then we're back at the pool hall. And
then Farah, like, basically tries to, like, save him, and she's like, why don't we put all the dishes away?
Oh, yeah.
Dad, why don't you show them the slides from our fun vacation in Newfoundland?
Right. And then we're back at the pool hall, and I think he's inviting the waitress to his formal?
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh.
Like, she's like, but she is, like, flirting with him, but also don't ask a college girl to a high school dance.
Yeah, and she's like, what? You're formal? And then Moose comes around and starts blowing up his spot, and then the waitress, and then Lindsay is like, this is why I don't hang out with high schoolers. Like, you guys are immature, bye. Like, basically.
Which is fair.
And then
Farah and Sav are very attractive together.
They are. But then, like, Anya starts texting, and then Farah's like, oh, who's that? And he's like, it's my girlfriend. And she's, like, being cool about it, but you can tell that her feelings are kind of hurt.
Yeah.
And is this when he kind of lets her in on the whole plan?
Yeah.
But fucking, so,
oh my God.
Sav hasn't been answering his phone because he's been, like, at dinner with all of these people.
Yeah, but she calls him four times, which is ridiculous, and doesn't just leave it at that. She shows up at his house.
Up to the door.
It's ridiculous. She shows up at his house and is like, you haven't been answering my calls. That is crazy behavior.
That's insane.
If I called you 4 times and you didn't answer, I'd be like, Holland's busy. Also, I wouldn't call you 4 times in a row unless it was like a dire emergency.
Yeah. And
but
it's like this isn't a dire emergency. Anya's just calling her boyfriend.
I would not show up at your apartment, and I don't have weird shit with your family, so I could just show up here and it would be fine, but it would be super weird.
It's super weird. It's like there was no emergency or anything, and she's like, you're not answering your phone, I need to talk to you. And he's like, I can't right now, I have like company over, I can't talk to you, that's why I didn't answer the phone. And then like Farah comes by and is like, where do I put this? And then Anya's like, who is that? Oh my God. And then she's
is that
like,
her?
And she's like, that's her. And he's like, yeah. So he's like maybe it's like possibly maybe her, like trying to be like, she's not officially my fiance or whatever. And Anya gets sad and it's like, God, you shouldn't have shown up to his house. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
But then we're with Johnny, and he like bought formal tickets for him and Moose to go, and he's like,
and Moose calls him Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan, and I feel like he calls Moose something. Brucey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they love each other.
Yeah. And they're like, we'll go together, whatever, fine. Like, high school's almost over.
You know what I love about this, though? Like, despite the fact that, like, Johnny DiMarco and Bruce are, like, totally the scumbags of the school, the way it's evolved so much, like, as far as just, like, the time of, like, since Degrassi started and this time period. The fact that they're like two dudes who are like, we'll go to the spring formal together, and it's not like nobody's going like, no homo though.
Yeah, that's true.
I just appreciated that.
Yeah. And then...
Oh, and Bruce says, just don't take advantage of me.
Yeah, they're making jokes about it. It's a good time.
I love it. It's a good time.
And then, like, Sav finds Anya at school. And this is when she's wearing her tiny vest. And he's basically just, like, sweet-talking his way back. And he's like, I want to go to, like, this doesn't change anything. I love you. I want to go to the formal with you. Like, she's just going to go with Peter just so our parents will be happy. Like, whatever.
And
like,
Anya's, like, visibly freaked out that she's still going to it, though.
Yeah. But she, like, is like, okay, fine. And... because it's like she realizes this is the only way that he's going to get to go anyway. And then Shantae, like, comes up to her and is being kind of she's like, ooh, so is it Shantae and Holly J?
It's Shantae who comes up and is, like, being, like, kind of shitty and insensitive. And then Holly J is just being, like, her honest self. She's
but it's like they come up, they're like, so we heard about, like, who is this girl that Peter's going to the dance with, blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah, that was it.
That's Anya, right, fucking feeding it into Miss Auntie Grapevine is like, oh yeah, that's Sav's, like, betrothed person who he's supposed to marry, and she's going with Peter and da da da.
And
like,
their
why are you telling
faces
them?
are just, they just, like, drop to the floor. And then Shantae's like, so you're just gonna let him have his cake and eat it too, which is a fair fucking point. And Anya's like, there's no cake. And Holly J's like, oh, there's cake.
There's cake, yeah. And that's, like, the end of part 1. And it says to be continued.
But yeah, so Anya's way too cool with this. Like, she's not cool with it, but she's, like, faking way too cool with this.
Yeah. It's definitely, like, the beginning of the end. But then part 2 starts, and he and Anya are talking about stuff. And he's like, I know this is hard for you. And she's like, yeah, well, as long as we're together at the end of the night, that's all that matters. And he's like, ooh, about that. Actually, now that Farah's going, like, we're not allowed to break curfew, so I don't think I'll be able to, like, stay after the dance. And then she's like, oh, okay, well, fuck, I'm sad.
Yeah, this is, like, he's, like, ruining her magic night, and she's all sad. And, you know, it somehow makes it worse. Like when someone, like, disappoints, like, a plan that you have in your head that you've, like, kind of built up, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And then we're with Alli, and she has, like, I don't know if she's volunteered or if she just got roped into this by Holly J. But
I think the second one.
Probably. But she's, like, helping out with the dance. She's, like, working. She and Dave are now working the drinks table at the dance. And Alli's like, ugh, this is so embarrassing. Like, I thought I was going to go to the dance. I wasn't going to be working the drink table at the dance. Blah, blah, blah.
Also, I don't think that's that embarrassing.
I know. It's like, you still get to go.
You're just going to sit there. Who cares?
Whatever.
You're sitting there pouring drinks. I don't know. I guess, like, a, like, young high school idea of what's embarrassing is very different than, like...
Yeah, probably. I don't know. But Alli is like, so, like, up in her head about that kind of stuff where it's, like... people probably won't care that she's there doing that, but she thinks it's a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah. And then Shantae is being lovely with Anya. She's like, he loves you. Don't freak out.
And Anya has a story of the year poster in her locker.
Yes, she does.
And Shantae's giving her pep talk, which is nice.
I don't understand the taste of music that they give to these characters.
I don't think they think about it.
It's extremely confusing. I will never get over Peter having a weaker than sticker.
I don't know. I think they just hear names of bands and they're like, sure, like, this is what the kids like, and just slap it into lockers willy-nilly.
Riley with the Thursday poster.
And then, and then we're, like, all of a sudden in the botanical gardens, and Peter's taking they're all taking photos of each other.
Yeah. Oh, and when they pick up Anya, Sav is, like, standing out the roof and just goes, va-va-voom.
Oh, my God.
Which is a choice.
Yeah, but then we go to the botanical gardens, and they're like, yeah, all taking photos of each other, sure. And then it's like, oh, Farah's like, oh, Sav, like, we should take one for our parents, ha ha ha. And then
it's super awkward because Anya's still, like, in the frame.
She's still just standing there, and it's like, Anya, fucking move out of the way. And Peter's like, Anya, move. And she's like, oh no. And then they take the photos, and she's like, wait, we need to take more for my cousins in India. And it's like, okay, Farah, sure.
Just use the same photo.
Exactly. And then and then we're with Dave and Alli, and Dave is taking his like drink table duties very seriously, which is kind of cute.
It is very cute. She cannot stand him. But he's like, we should make our like a signature drink, which is like, all right, fine.
What is it? The Banderner? Banderner?
I think it's like Banderner.
Because it's like Bandarian Turner, because I guess his last name is Turner, sure.
Yeah.
And she's like, but then they start kind of like having fun with each other.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
making friends.
Holly J calls them minor niners. And then, like, she's, like, Allie's throwing a tantrum. And Dave is basically like, I don't like you. And she's like, how can you not like me? And he was like, you're a snob.
Yeah, he calls her out on her bullshit. And she's like, excuse me?
But, like, damn, Dave, do it.
But, yeah, seriously.
And this is when the crew rolls up to the spring formal. And Farah's dress gets caught in the door. And she just, like, spins out of it. And suddenly it's a perfectly cut shorter dress.
Yeah, and it's like, it's fine. And it's like, all right, fine, sure. And then do they talk to Declan, who's Mr. Foot in Mouth or something?
Yeah, because Declan is like basically like, oh, is this your betrothed?
Yeah. And Holly J's like, don't mind him. He's Mr. Foot in Mouth. And then he like says something else stupid, which I don't remember what he says. And then Farah kind of like shoots back and is like kind of plays along, and it's fine. And then I think they're talking about like, oh, he doesn't deserve either of us, right, Anya? And then cut to Sav like knocking down a tree or something.
Yeah, and she's like, there's something charming about him, though. And she walks over to him because she loves him, even though really they should not be together.
Yeah.
And then Johnny DiMarco and Bruce walk up to Alli at the table, and they're like
they're being dicks.
They're being real dicks, but that's just because Johnny DiMarco is like
being an asshole to her to make her feel bad because he can't be with her.
Exactly. He's being a dumb boy.
And
also he's like, she's hanging out with this other guy.
Yeah. And then they're like, do you want this thing that we made up? And he's like, a nickel for your trouble. And he's like, ugh, you're being gross.
Yep. And then Anya goes into the bathroom and Farah's there, and Farah's being
her
way
name is
too
Farah,
whatever. I watched this like a week ago and I just have it written down. Also, I'm from New Jersey. I'm obviously going to say Farah. Farah, sorry.
Anyway, sorry.
Like, this is my accent. I cannot do anything about this.
But yeah, they're in the bathroom, and Farah's just like marking her territory.
Straight up. She's being way too real. I just kept writing this bitch.
Yeah, she's being like she's like, Sav and I are going to get married one day, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, blah, blah, blah.
She's not super wrong, though.
Yeah. But she's being very aggressive about it.
Oh, yeah. She just did a complete 180 from, like, sweet, funny, sassy girl to, like, bitch.
Seriously. It's, like, needlessly catty. And then Anya's like, all right, on my way to go mark my territory. And then she, like, walks up to Sav, who's, like, talking to Declan and Holly J, and just starts making out with him. And they're like, all right, we're going to leave now.
But Declan, like, gives them it's just really funny.
It's very great. They're like,
it's really funny. But
okay.
Sav is talking. Oop, I just banged my face on the microphone. Sorry. Sav is talking to them about, like, basically rigging the thing so that he and Anya get
King and
Queen. And Declan says something about it being, like, too deliciously steamy to, like, pass up that kind of
opportunity.
Yeah, because of course. And then Anya, after, like, making out with his face, is just like,
let's go somewhere.
Let's go have sex, basically.
Yeah.
In the limo.
Yeah. And then Dave is, like, dancing. And that's all I have for that. And then they're back. And then they're in the limo. And I'm like, oh, my God, are you going to do it in the limo? Weird. And then it's kind of like a montage.
Yeah,
and then
it goes back and forth. So, like, first of all, I'm like, Anya, don't do this way for this reason.
Yeah.
And then Bruce is dancing, and it's hilarious because he's not good. And then Peter, like, goes over to Farah, who's noticed that, like, they left, and, like, is like, you want to dance?
He's trying to be a good date. And she's like, no.
Farah, I'm like, New Jersey. Farah, like, is like, just ignores him, and he's like, okay, and he like dances away, which is hilarious.
And then we're in the limo.
And
Sav was like, I didn't think this would happen, so I didn't bring a condom. And she's like, I took care of it. I'm like, did you, Anya?
She did not. I just wrote, is Anya trying to trap him with a baby right now?
I didn't think she was going to try trap him with a baby. I think she's just trying to trap him with sex.
I think maybe both. I think a little bit both.